Hi, my name is Matt Thompson, General Manager for Developer and Platform Evangelism for Microsoft. Spend most of my time looking after startups and ISVs across the United States, and particularly how they look at cloud. I think one of the interesting things that we're starting to see is at the very low end, at the startup space, we're seeing that almost every startup is adopting cloud as kind of their infrastructure. And we're actually seeing on the investment side that people won't even give these guys money unless they're moving to cloud. So nobody's funding the big, massive data center build-outs that we saw in the early 2000s. And that's interesting because that causes a lot of innovation to be driven from that space as well. And so from a Microsoft perspective, we see Microsoft Azure as being like the place where startups are starting to start up. And we've got a bunch of interesting things going on here in Silicon Valley around feeding the incubators with Azure tokens and our Azure Free Pass offer. And then when you start moving up into the ISV ecosystem outside of startup, we're also seeing a tremendous amount of uptake into cloud, mainly because they're already got hosting agreements with a number of their partners, and so our hosting partners are starting to look at cloud as a way to provide kind of elastic scale to our ISVs as well. And at the very top end, our biggest ISVs across the United States are either building out their own private clouds using our pieces like Hyper-V and System Center, or they're actually using hosting partners, or even bursting into our public cloud, Azure. And I think the really interesting thing when you look at what's come over the last year is this notion that public, private, and hybrid clouds are all kind of emerging kind of with equal force. And we think that's really, really interesting for the future.